Well, here, I have something else to show off. This is what the frequent listener has purchased for me for Christmas. And I showed it on stream, and they're like, yes, that is very much a you thing.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
Hello there, droogs. Words.
I was waiting for you to start pulling up the other slang that you found.
Oh, I was gonna wait until we got closer, and I was gonna ask you. But I can do that now. Also,
I was gonna say I have a little bit of a bit. So I was explaining to Itisdpayne that I did kind of like a me day earlier, and I had a gift card to a stationery store that I like. So there's these I don't know if you've seen these online. They're called Hobonichis, and I threw away the sticker price, but originally this was $55, and they're like, hey, it's $20 because it was a display one, so some of the covers are like that, but there's nothing written on the inside. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this system, so let me get it for $20 instead of $55, and I'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. I was opening it, and I do have to laugh. It's a Japanese brand planner, I believe, and all I've learned is from working at a Japanese company and everything, they really love mascots and things. Mm-hmm. So I opened this, and this is apparently the mystery of Technomask for audio listeners. I don't know. How would you describe this to them?
It looks like a Sailor Moon villain.
Yeah, it's giving Sailor Moon.
It's a top hat with a book.
With eyes.
But it's the book is opened and glued to the person's face.
It says, so there's a Japanese version on the right hand side. On the left hand side, because this is a Western release, it says, there's a treasure hidden inside you, superhuman strength waiting to be awakened. This is your potential. Watch it shine through bit by bit in the pages of your life book. It's more than you can even imagine. This charm, this spell, it's your potential. And then in massive font, potential. And this is all themed for a 2025 planner. And there's if I flip it, there's a bunch of QR codes and an actual set of comics that I did not dive into. So I was opening the plastic packaging with the little journal, and I was like, what is happening here? Yeah, it says Technomask can be seen flying around the world. What kind of world awaits you? Don't be afraid to explore the ancient caverns of yore. With QR codes mixed into the imagery. What techniques are hidden within the Book of Secrets? Wow, a secret tool makes a surprise appearance, and two treasure boxes lie before you. Which will you open? And a QR code on each. Oh, and I missed the first panel. It's late at night, and you find yourself troubled. Potential, you whisper aloud. Who else but Technomask appears before you? And oh my god, if I was a child and I said the word potential and that just showed up at my bedside, I don't think I would go back to bed.
You know what it looks like? It looks like the king of the cosmos' twice removed cousin. But on a completely other note, I'm looking at this journal thing. I don't know how it works, but it looks fancy.
It looks fancy. So I don't know. That's the daily page for this particular one that I have, where it has timeline. So if you want to put in appointments or meeting times, a place for notes, the day, and little quotes at the bottom. And it has a page per day, essentially. The thing that I didn't realize they come with, at the very end, it has things like your favorites, and you can circle movies, books, music, and put little notes about them so you don't forget about them. They had a little section about 100, so it's 100 things you want to do, 100 things you want to see, read, etc., or eat. And then some tips on how to keep a diary to keep you motivated. And this was cute. Words to remember. So quotes from things that you hear from, again, watching stuff, movies? Reading stuff. Who would have thought? And then a cute little year in review. What's my buzzword for the year? I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, we could throw all these into an AI thing to find out what your word count is.
That just reminds me of the word clouds from college. They'd be put in some phrases and we'll make a word cloud to help you figure out synonyms for words you want to say. And I'm ugh.
Yeah, that's some of my searches. Like while I'm writing, I'm just like I'm writing, and then I'm like, I think I've wrote the same word 5 times. Look it up. All right, there we go. Well, here I have something else to show off. This is what the frequent listener has purchased for me for Christmas, and I showed it on stream, and they're like, "Yes, that is very much a you thing. It is a sock
With your own face on
with
it.
all my faces on it." And so it's these were like some sunglasses we found when we were at a mall walking around. And if anyone has ever watched One Piece, they are very similar to Delmingo or Flamingo. I forget his name, but he's and now I forget what island he's on. But he wears a big poofy pink jacket, and he's just like puts them on and walks around like. And so I was just doing that the whole time in the middle of the store, and so yeah, so I have socks with my face on them.
Happy holidays for anyone who's like, wait, this is like middle of January. Shh, it's okay. Don't think about it too much.
Well, you know what? Depending on when people listen to this, it could be the middle of summer too. So, I thought there was something in my head. Oh yeah. So this movie, A Clockwork Orange, was quite the movie.
Yes. Well, yeah, when you messaged me about figuring out when we wanted to record, I thought you were hesitant because, like, you watched the movie and you were like, I don't know if Hop's going to be okay with everything in it.
Oh.
And I was
I
like...
haven't watched it yet.
At the time of the message, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I was just like, are you still, like...
Available?
Tired from and, like, need you time?
I think I'm a lot busier tomorrow, so I figured today's probably the better option.
It's all good. We figured it out. We're here. And I don't know. I found out that I'm like, I don't have enough quarters to do all my laundry. So
the worst. At least it's not an actual holiday day, unless the banks are already closed.
They're gonna be closed in about 30 minutes.
I'm so sorry.
That's all good. I wasn't leaving the house anyway. It's like I got everything. I got the majority of the stuff washed. This is what everyone comes in to listen to. My laundry problems. So anyway, for anyone who hasn't watched A Clockwork Orange or read the book, they have some fun slang in there. And yeah, I'm wondering here. Let me look this up. Let me see if I can do a Google search for what the actual like a list. Oh, okay, I found a Clockwork Orange wiki with the language. Let's see. So I figured we could have some fun here. Maybe we can just do a handful. And since I have it up here, we can. I will say the word, and Hop, you can see if you can get the definition correct. So okay. I have the whole alphabet. So do you want to just give me a letter? And
let's go with the letter H.
H.
For Hop.
Yep. That's what I was saying. Oh, that's G. H. Okay.
Are these things said in the movie, or is this
yes.
just okay?
There, two of these things are in here. So, well, one we were joking about earlier. There's only two for this one, so we can do both real quick.
Okay.
We'll do the one that is said a ton. Horror show.
Oh, to me, in the context, I assumed it meant like anything that was like violent or uncomfortable. Like a scenario that's like rough.
I could see that. It's not correct.
It's fine.
It is good. It means good or well.
Oh, because they are terrible
like
people.
Yeah, it's a real horror show. Like, it's
really what they wanted. Yeah.
Yeah. The other one is hemcorn.
This was said in the movie?
Apparently, it's on the wiki. It might have been. I don't know if it was written in the book
or in the movie. I'm gonna guess it means a nice dress.
No, it means pocket change. So,
I think in the movie they call it a cutter.
well, here I can go to C.
Because the one guy goes, "Can you spare a cutter for me?"
Yes, that is what. Yeah.
Haha, I paid attention.
There's also that. Cutter is there. Yeah, money. There's some stuff that makes sense. Charlie, the prison chaplain.
Oh, yes.
This one cracked. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, that guy, he was in the role.
There's one. This one might be tough. Chai.
The tea?
Yeah, it's what it is.
I was going to say, that's not really slang. That's just the name of a type of tea.
I do like this one. Cancer.
Like, I assume... Well, in the other context that I hear, it usually means, like, a drain or something that, like, hurts you. Like, something bad for you.
You're hitting all around it. Cigarette.
It does cause that, yes.
And here's the one thing that we were talking about earlier, because for people who don't know, in this world, in this book, they use a fictional slang that is invented by the writer called nadsat, which is a fusion of, I think, Cockney and Russian.
Okay.
So that's why there is... I just saw it. Where'd it go? Chelovek is a man.
And I do remember them saying Malochik at various points.
Which is probably woman. That's L. It's kind of hard to see it on here. Yeah, Malochik. Oh, Malochik is boy.
Oh, boy versus man versus... I think it started with a D for woman.
Nope, that's C. There we go. D.
Like D-O something. Because I had captions on.
Yeah, so did I. Devacha.
Oh, Devacha. Okay.
And to the drats is the fight. So what we're saying is that this movie has a lot of words.
A lot of words where you go, I see what's happening on the screen. I don't have to think twice about the words, because it's like, after you get used to it, you're just like, okay, they're just saying things, and I just have to pay attention to the scene.
Yeah, like when most people listen to the British talk.
Then any case.
I'm joking. Here's the last one I want to say, because I just clicked on Z, and it made me laugh. Zoobies.
I don't know if I remember that one. You want me to guess still?
If you want, or I can just tell you.
I'm gonna guess it is slang for an article of clothing.
No, it's teeth.
Oh, okay. Not anywhere near what I was thinking.
Clothing and teeth both are accessories to the body.
Because I remember there's like the whole scene with the boots, and I was like, is that when he said it? But in any case, before we jump into anything that could be spoilers for a kind of old movie, we do have some questions that we're going to go over about the movie and a quick summary that we'll give. To do that, we'll be rolling some dice. We are watching different directors for each month of the year, so we have D12s to roll, and whoever gets the highest number gets to give a quick summary, and then we'll talk about some questions, and then we'll be in Spoiler Town. So you're safe for now.
It's right next to Flavor Town.
It's not my turn.
I can't read my die. Did you roll a 1?
I did roll a 1.
I thought I rolled a 1, and then I had to look. It's a 7.
Let me double check. Yeah, 7 looks different. Okay, yeah, I rolled a 1.
All right, so the quick synopsis of A Clockwork Orange. It is pretty much we follow Alex, our main character, who is our... I'm trying to remember what he calls himself. Our faithful narrator.
Kind, sweet-hearted man.
Yeah, who is a bit of in a local gang, going through the world, doing a bunch of ultra violence and pretty much a bunch of delinquent type activities. And it tells a story of pretty much him going so far, like pretty much betrayal, prison, and afterwards.
Yeah,
Which,
I think it's a very interesting look at, like, he clearly had a big ego and it worked for him for a while, and then eventually people were like, actually, this kind of sucks.
yeah. And so yeah, that's that. That's pretty much
The high level.
the gist. Yeah, there's we'll get into it. So I forget the questions.
I can start off the question since you did the summary. If
right.
this was the only movie you watched by this particular director, i.e. Stanley Kubrick, would you watch the rest of their catalog?
No. I gotta give a letter grade.
Oh yeah, A+ through F-.
Yeah.
School grades.
I don't know if I would give it an F.
Are
I
you
don't
being
know.
partial because you've also read the book?
I read the book, but the book and the movie for a good chunk, for a big part of it, is pretty much the book on film. There are some things that do get skipped over that I think are for context, but I don't think it takes away. I don't think it detracts from the story being told, except for the ending,
Okay.
which we can talk about later. But I don't know. It's just like I think I would probably. I don't know, because it'd probably be like either a D or C, like somewhere in that range, like, because it's just I would assume going into this I would know what is I would have an idea of what is happening. Like, however, it's just like, which there's so much focus on like the depravity of this person that I'm just like, hey, is there more to this story? And then it's just like in the way it's shot and and certain things, like there's some stuff where it's just like, okay, you feel to focus on this stuff a little bit too long, and then there's other parts where it's just like almost straight comedy, like when they're playing, what is it, the Flight of the Valkyries or the Bumblebee or whatever it is, and it's like fast forward. I close to the word, but yeah, just like fast forward sex scene, multiples.
Oh yes,
and it's just like, yeah, and it's like, can't take that seriously. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. When watching this movie, it's just like, okay, this is going on a little bit too long. I feel like it could have moved forward.
See that. Yeah, like for me, I think I would ultimately probably give it a C-, because I think overall, like, I don't have any exposure to the book, and this is a movie that I've watched in parts throughout the years, and that probably also colored it, where I had a strong expectation of what I would see on screen. Like, I wasn't shocked because I knew what A Clockwork Orange deals with. I just had those moments where I was like, it feels like we're repeating things that I thought were already understood by shots that were done earlier. But I don't know, I think I like the aesthetic, and I like some of the directorial choices enough that it's not a director that I would say, oh, if this was the only movie I saw, I would never watch a movie again by them. But it's definitely like, I think I also grew up where I was always familiar with The Clockwork Orange because a lot of like references I would see to other media I like like Clockwork Orange, but not necessarily for the depravity of it, but because like people were like, I like the outfits, I like the furniture, I like the colors and the 70s vibes, like the weird, like, is it the future or is it the 70s? And so I think I appreciated like the outfits, the rooms, some of the art, not a lot of the art, but like the stylistic choices done to make the shot express like, as soon as I was in a different room, I was like, I know who exactly this is and I can understand this person just based on the wallpaper. And I think that's a really cool directorial thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like the pacing and the content of the movie, I'm like, yeah, I get it. We're being edgy for edgy's sake, you know. So yeah, I think I land on a C- on that.
Yeah, and that's kind of where my grade is. Like, somewhere around there.
So this is going to be an easy answer. How much did you root for the characters in this film?
Not much.
Yeah, I would give it an F minus because even the
Yeah.
side characters that I'm supposed to feel bad for, I don't, because it's like the way that it's presented in the movie, it's presented almost like everyone's a victim of their circumstances. And if that's the case, nobody's innocent, even though they want you to feel bad for different characters. It's like everybody he's ever interacted with has fueled this kid. Even the people that are supposedly out to help him are doing it for selfish and nefarious means.
Yeah, and there's yeah, I didn't really, yeah, like I don't know, the whole movie is kind of hinged on morality. And everyone has their own, and you kind of see it as you go forward. But and just yeah, it's just in this I guess it really dives into that dystopian factor where it's just like, no, like that's kind of closer to the end, so I won't say that. But yeah, it's just like when at his lowest, it's like, okay, well, you're kind of getting what you build up, but at the same time, it's like,
Yeah, on one hand, you're like, it seems really harsh, but the other hand, you're like, well, when you consider everyone else's interactions with him, is it that harsh? And then you go and you flip it and go, maybe it is harsh. Like it's
some of the stuff, but yeah, it's like,
it's good for conversation's sake because it is messy.
So, but yeah, I would also give it an F minus because I don't really think there's anybody you can really like vote for. Maybe the cats.
The cats, I was so scared. I was like, there's a lot of cats here and these are terrible people. But then I remembered he has the pet snake and I was like, okay.
The pet snake, yeah.
Yeah, he likes animals. So what overall grade would you give the plot? You can do a comparison between movie and book because you did say there is something significant left out of the movie.
Yeah, well, it's the end. Like, the ends are different. I think the book, and it's funny, it's not just Stanley Kubrick that said this. Like, the directors, or the publishers for America also... Sorry, I misspoke when I told you. The publishers for America cut out the last chapter of the book.
I have heard that. Like,
yes,
there's some books that I've also read, even modern books, that have different endings because they just made assumptions.
And so the publishers in America and from what I understand, Anthony Burgess was like, why'd you cut this out? And that's where the like Americans are made of tougher stuff. They don't need that final chapter. And that is what Kubrick read, and that's why the book, the movie ends where it does. Okay. I think in modern day the final chapter is put in, which I don't know what just fell over in my apartment, but something did. But I think it tells a fuller journey of this character. It's not long, but I think it goes through it tells. I think it gives a nice ending, a closure on the story that where they end. And like I know we were briefly talking about it. the ending feels incomplete. Oh,
Yeah.
because it is. But I would say though, for the plot and everything, I would say like because it is there to. I feel like movie is more to create discussion of stuff like of what, like, because it shows you how terrible this person is, and like the people he hangs out with, and like the world itself,
And their view on criminals reform, what it means to be a good citizen. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like it I think that having those conversations is good to have and take into mind, like to consider and have these conversations, because like these are important conversations that should be should be ongoing, of like of reforming, and like what does that look like, and just the whole conversation is this process, it takes away the choice, so is it really like
Is it healthy?
curing? Is it healthy? Is it are you just kind of making like drones rather than actually helping people? And
AKA lobotomies.
and so it's I think the questions and the discussion that should come out of this movie, where I think every time I heard people talk about it, it is not that.
No, everyone focuses on the first half hour.
Yeah. And but I think if that's the focus, it's I do think it's a good conversation starter and discussion piece. So I think like but then again, I don't know if that really tells much about the plot, because that's a spoiler for the thing, but there's no character progression. The character has a tough time, but it doesn't seem like there's much learned.
No.
So, if anything at all.
It's almost interesting. In my way of viewing the movie, I felt like he was a main character that had no aspects of being a main character. Like, he's who we're hearing the story from, but he actually doesn't have agency in what's going on around him. He's kind of just being, like, dragged around. But in any case.
Yeah.
Do you have a grade yet? Still thinking?
I'll probably give it a C+.
Yeah, I think I'm C plus B minus for a lot of similar reasons, where like I think if the first half hour was either truncated or given multiple lenses, I would give it a higher grade. But it does feel like a lot of people just pay attention to, I mean, long story short, boobs. There's a lot of boobs in this movie that don't need to be here because like people like looking at boobs, I guess. And I understand it does make sense in the plot, but when you've seen like 20 different sets of boobs, you're kind of like, is that what a boob looks like anymore? It's like when you say a word too many times. So, yeah. Like, and I do think the pacing was a little bit fast, but I feel like that's the case for most books to movies, where there was literally one point I looked away to see what Strider was playing, because like where I watch movies, he also has his gaming PC, and I looked back and I was like, I have to rewind. I missed something very important somehow in like the 2 minutes that I looked away.
Yeah.
If you want a hint of what it was when he's singing in the rain the second time. So I was like, why is he screaming? Oh, that's why he's screaming. So it was a very, like, all I missed was him wheeling himself over, and I was like, oh, that is an important plot point. Okay, good thing I rewinded.
I feel like something very terrible is about to happen to me all the time.
So then, final question. How likely would you recommend this movie to others?
I probably wouldn't. I would say read the book.
So. That's very fair. I think I almost wish I could recommend only the second half of the movie, But like you said, for the discussions, but the second half of the movie doesn't make sense without the first half.
Yeah.
So maybe like if I could send someone like an abbreviated version, like Dragon Ball Z version of Clockwork Orange, where they go, oh, these guys like to murder people, and then show the second half of the movie when he's already in prison. Like, if it was just those two parts, then I'd be like, okay. Honestly, I could probably just tell them, oh, start watching from when they're in the health retreat, and then just watch that part of the movie forward.
Yeah, you kind of get the whole thing. Because that's kind of when it picks up. Like, the beginning of the part is... The beginning is still, like... In the book, there's a little bit more of the crew, because there's a crew interaction. We'll probably get into this later, but it's just like there's a very quick jump in the movie of his crew
betraying him.
Yeah, betraying him. But there's a reason why those opening scenes are in there that got cut, and what starts the whole thing. It's nothing good. But it's like
the movie just implies
the
movie just implies that they're upset that they're doing small jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't go into much more than that.
That's the excuse. But it starts off earlier. But anyway, yeah. So
timer time, spoiler town.
Spoiler town.
Hide your ears if you want to watch this movie first, but you don't have to. Yeah, I guess if we had to give letter grades, I guess F-. Well, you're giving it an F- for recommending it to others. I would give it a D-.
Yeah.
I think there's a very small select people I could maybe talk about this movie with, but it's not like... It's not going to be in my like repertoire of like, oh, you're looking for something to watch. This would not be a movie, I say.
Which, it is interesting... I can't do the math in my head, so I gotta bring up the calendar. This movie's 53 years old. So it's like... Watching it in the lens now, it's like... Yeah, I could see how how it would be shot differently. And be done different. But, I don't know. Anyway. So, I'm going to start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go.
I have to ask this for every Kubrick movie. Is the lead actor okay? Because if I had those eye clamps on me, I would be having...
I was thinking this.
Terrible dreams for the longest time.
Is he still alive? He's still alive. Yeah. So... Yeah, he's... Oh, he was in the 2007 Halloween movie.
Not that long ago, all things considered.
He's still acting.
Yeah, good for him.
He's in the SpongeBob SquarePants. Percival Rockhound? I don't know who that is. But yeah, he's still doing stuff. So that's
okay. So he wasn't scared. Oh, looking at him older, I recognize him more older than when he was younger. What else do I recognize him from? He's in 291 acting credits.
Yeah.
I'm gonna scroll through this.
He's in a movie that just came out called The Partisan, and he is Trenchcoat. I don't know what that means. He's in 11 more.
He's an actor for the Castlevania TV series in 2021. He's a voice actor for that. Okay, so he's been busy.
Yeah. He knows what he likes to do and keeps on doing it. So I guess, yeah, he's doing okay. It looks like he wasn't typecast. He's in Silent Hill Revelation. Don't know why I know that. Like, I know why because I saw it, but I'm like, he's... in the High Fructose Adventures of the Annoying Orange.
He's in some Scooby-Doo.
He just did everything. He's in Metalopolis.
He's in Elder Scrolls Online.
He's in God of War 3. He's in Bolt.
He's in 2 episodes of Community. Maybe that's where I recognize him from.
Maybe. I don't know. Never watched. He's in Doomsday. I saw Doomsday. Who's Kane? Where is he? Well, he's... I had to scroll too far to find him. But anyway, yeah. Seems like he did well for himself. But yeah, no, that's... As soon as I saw them actually putting the eye clamps on, I'm like, no,
No, thank you.
Hopefully that was part of the conversation before he started. And I'm like, hopefully that was just one day of shooting. Like, just,
yeah, not that they had to do a bajillion takes of that. Ugh.
It's like, okay, we're just doing this once. We're going to do it in there and just like, I don't know. The 70s sounds like you can get away with a lot more.
A lot less like actor protections, yeah.
Like the famous thing in The Birds where they tied birds to that one actress and just threw birds at her.
Yeah.
Any poop.
Anything else you wanted to bring up? That was the first thought that I had. I was just like, I don't like this. Even as a viewer. Because, like, it felt like one of those moments where, like, I don't know if he's still acting.
Well, now we know.
Well, he could have also been, like,
yes,
just actually incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah. And I don't know about anybody else in these movies. So, this is fun when now my brain's like, what is my glasses deciding to highlight over here? There's
audio listeners will never know.
I know. There we go. I'll just have to sit here and look this way. Yeah, so I guess I guess just a couple things that were why the beginning of the movie according to the book, because like this book is shot pretty much scene for scene for the movie. The movie shot scene for scene for the book.
Okay.
Except for a couple different things. So like the reason I think originally why they all betray him isn't just the fact that they wanted to do real jobs. And for anyone that is like a hardcore fan of the Clockwork Orange book, film, and everything, I read this I think like 2 years ago, so I'm going off my memory. But Dim wanted, when they go and break into the writer's house, wanted to have a go at the wife.
Okay.
And I think if I remember correctly, everyone else did, and he was supposed to stand guard or was just holding them. And in short,
he felt shorthanded.
Yeah, and Alex tells him no. Like pretty much is like, no, you can't do this. Like
I'm the leader. I get to say everything. Yeah.
So that was like the start of
and
it
it's
all.
Ricky is the other guy that Dim kind of like tries to get on his side to. What's his name, Ricky?
There's Georgie? I don't think that's it.
There's one guy that never talked.
Yeah. I'm looking through here. Let's see, does it say? No, it doesn't say who's who. I'm trying to see if I scroll down and when they find him later. Georgie. Yeah, Georgie.
Georgie. Okay.
Yeah, so Dim and Georgie, because they're the cops later. And then there's the other guy that's just like, ugh. Which I think that's the case of like there is the quiet. He's just quiet the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was kind of like the whole start of it. There's like another section when like he just walks around town by himself that gets cut, if I remember correctly, like that he's just like there and he kind of, I think that gang that they have the like fight that was complete comedy. They come back, yeah. They come back for like revenge or something, but yeah, that fight was just cracking me up. It's just not the start of it.
It felt slapstick once it got like into the fight part, and I was also like, where's the moral code when they were in the writer's house? Sorry, yawning. And in the writer's house, they clearly did the same thing, that they were like, oh, you guys don't deserve to do this to this woman. And I was like, oh, how morals change when you're the ones that get to do the thing to the woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, what was it? Yeah, and then it was just like, everyone's like, yeah, we're here to fight. And then it was just like, all right, none of this has to actually connect. Just do some fight moves. Like, there's people on the stage.
Break away furniture. Yeah.
A guy gets launched through a window, and they're like, oh, the coppers, or whatever they say. Like, sirens. We gotta go. So yeah, there was that. I think there was more the World War II footage that they show him that is in the book.
That's real footage.
Yeah,
too,
well, it's real footage, and it's also that's I believe is what they also
described. Yeah,
because I do remember like they did give a description of, as I like the as they say on TikTok, the mustache man. Normally history TikTokers say that, but yeah, they do like they do describe Hitler and stuff like that, and all the different things that is on screen that he watches. To my memory, I think it's close to it, but yeah, they kind of just hand wave that whole section because that's like months.
Yeah, they made it sound like it was like 3 sessions in the movie.
Yeah.
They're like, you're going to do a double today. He's like, wow, I hated it. I don't want to do a double. And they're like, okay, now put on a performance for us. Prove to us that you're good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it almost seems like fake a little bit. Like he's just faking it
Pretending
through.
to, yeah.
Even though he has like that reaction. Like in the book, I believe it's like months of him doing this where he's like, I don't even feel like my eyes are closed when they take the things off, and like I can see the images when I close my eyes.
It would be interesting if it was months long in the book, because in the movie they say you'll be out of prison in a fortnight, so that's what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
So
where are we dropping, boys? So yeah, there was that, and then the big thing, which is like my biggest complaint, which is the end, is in the end of the movie we see like, him jumping out the window knocked loose all the brainwashing that they did, and he's like, oh, I'm back to where I was, and kind of like the whole thing, which a lot of what I've been reading now, doing research on like story crafting and stuff, is like he didn't change. Like there is no journey for him at the end of this movie. I went through stuff, I learned nothing, maybe except to pick my friends that have more money.
Yeah, I did actually enjoy the scene though with the psychiatrist where she's like, say whatever you want, and he's like, we're gonna beat him up, and she's like, good job, good answer, thank you, you're on the road to recovery. And he's sitting there like, hell yeah, I am so good at this, what's my grade? She's like, oh, there's no grade.
There's no grade. Yeah. Yeah, so there is that in the book. I forget. Yeah, because I think they do have that whole thing where it's like they do have that political stuff in there. The other thing is like it's very unclear watching this movie how old anybody is.
I know they say he's in school, but I think he looks like a 30-year-old man.
Yeah, and like in the book it says that he was still in school, and like he's skipping, and so like I always imagined him at most 16.
Let's see. So if A Clockwork Orange was released in 1972, the actor was born in 1943. So yeah, so he was probably about 30 at the time of filming. Mm-hmm. Or at least when it started filming.
Yeah.
But the way they talk about things. But even, like, his parents are clearly older.
Yeah, everyone's old.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, this is, like, a really old man. Is he in college? But then the way that in the very beginning the doctor that supposedly is like trying to watch over his rehab is talking to him. He talks to him like he's 7.
Mm-hmm.
I forget that doctor's name.
Me
Dorsch something.
Dorschenheim. Oh, Dr. Brodsky.
No, Brodsky is the
Brodsky.
one that does the reform program. The early doctor during the police interrogation that was like that spits on him.
Yeah.
He talks to him like he's 7.
Mm-hmm. He's a weirdo.
Yeah, that was a long scene.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see it in the IMDb stuff, but yeah. I don't know. It also didn't make sense that why he was drinking Denter water, but
yeah. Yeah. But I at least do like that the movie has, like, that everybody's messy in it. Mm-hmm. Because then it becomes muddy as to who is the worst person. Because in the beginning, it's clear that Alex is clearly the worst person to ever exist. But then his parents are like, well, I guess you can't go to school today. And they're like, where do you think he goes at night? They're like, I don't know. When he has like wads. Yeah, he has wads of cash in his house. And then all of that. And then also all his friends are like, can we do something more terrible to people by chance? Can we be worse people somehow? Mm-hmm. And then the people that start the reform program don't see him as a human being. And the prime minister is just doing very selfish acts to prove that he should stay prime minister. Yeah. Like, it's just a lot of, like, really messy people. And you're just like, I guess everybody here sucks. So I kind of like that it took that route. I'm 50-50 on how I feel about him having absolutely no character arc. Because I did kind of like that he was trying to act like a good guy to get out of prison early, too. Because he's sitting there and reading, quote-unquote, the big book. And rather than taking away anything aspirational, he's like, I want to be the bad guy. I want to be the Romans. I want to torture people. I don't like the other half of the book where it's all, like, religious.
Yeah, it's like what the preacher man says. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like the end, like, of the book, pretty much I guess I should ask, do you care if I spoil the end of the book?
I might eventually read it, since you seem to say, like, if you're gonna indulge in this media, read the book. I have a copy somewhere in my house, maybe. I've borrowed a copy. I could probably... This might be one that, like, as hard as it would be to listen to, would probably serve me better as an audiobook, because then I could just kind of, like, instead of sitting there and trying to understand how to say the words, I can just have them said to me.
Yeah. So, in short, I won't spoil the end completely, but there is a jump in time a little bit where he is looking at people in his past, and there's like his gang is a lot bigger than just the 4 of them, or he gets new people. I can't remember it. Like, he either like rebuilds his gang or something like that, but then he sees that quiet guy and how he progressed in life, and seeing like how he is like married, has kids, and seems to be moving on with life. And he's like, okay. And then like has a conversation with somebody just to talk about how everyone else is moving forward with a life. And he has that kind of, it's like, okay, what am I going to do here? Like, and kind of just thinks there. So where like the story itself doesn't feel like look as like a bragging list of things that he's bragging, but it almost takes on a tinge of, here's me reflecting over my whole life and how I got to where I am and what has it gotten me.
Okay.
And like and it takes on a lot more of a reflective thing, rather how it feels like in the movie is just like, hey, here I am here's like all my sins. I do all these things. I'm so bad. And yeah, I had a rough patch in jail as there was all these creepy people and everything, but I saw my chance. I took it. Had a little bit of discomfort. Kind of got my people got their revenge on me as I left, but hey, I still made it out on top. And so, yeah, it's as I said, I think the ending of the book tells a more complete story. But in the end, as a film in general, like, yeah, I think it's, I think for knowing what Kubrick read, because that's what was here in America, doesn't make a lot of sense. What I will say, just so that way I'm not constantly talking about what was better in the book and everything, and the director and stuff, like I do agree with you. Like the shots that Kubrick does, like I don't think we saw this. No, we did see it in 2001: Space Odyssey, the Kubrick stare of just like the very serious looking, almost not at but through the camera.
When
if that
was
makes sense.
that in 2001?
When he's in the spaceship, he's in the pod trying to get back in, and he's like piloting. I believe he's.
It sounds like a right time, because I figured it has to be something related to the pod.
Yeah,
I just couldn't remember if it was him trying to re-enter or him when he gets too close to the monolith.
I think it was when he was in the pod.
Okay.
But there's that.
No, there's a lot of staring in Clockwork Orange, that's for sure.
Yes, it starts off with it. Yeah. I also think that Kubrick only likes classical music.
I mean, the whole score for 2001 feels like that. And, I mean, but if you said it's like shot for shot from the book, it makes sense that there is so much classical music in Clockwork Orange, because that is a very big character
thing.
Character trait.
Yeah. It's, yeah, because I think I remember in the book when they find out that he likes Beethoven, they put more in.
Oh, okay. Into his training.
I can't remember. Like, anyone that's listening here, don't quote me on that, because as I said, it was a little while, but it's like that is something they key onto when he's like freaking out. But yeah, like without having to explain all this stuff about, like, spend time, like, why are we going to go do this heist on this, this health helper?
Yeah, like,
whatever.
It was like a health resort where people get away or whatever. Yeah. And
it's like, you just see her room and you're like, oh, that kind of health. And it's just everything over there, and just the what was it, the statue fight.
That was very long.
Yep.
I also like how confident he was. He's like, I'm not a murderer. They're like, okay, but she died in the hospital, and he still has like no remorse. So I also like, I think it would have also been a more compelling plot if there's more discussion on nature versus nurture, because like his parents are so negligent that we don't even get a chance to see, like, does this run in the family? Do they secretly have like this like dark streak, but their dad or their mom is better, has been too busy trying to fit into society to have any differences, but instead they just go, well, okay, I like the bit where he's in the hospital and he's like, why are you guys coming to visit me? You didn't let me live at home. You kicked me out. You don't like me. You're uncomfortable. And they're just like, yeah, but you're on the papers again. He's like, and? Because they've basically abandoned him for, what was his name, Joe?
Yeah,
it was very funny when he's like, who's this weird guy on the couch with mom? He's like, oh, he's a tenant. He's like, okay. He's like, what did you guys do with my snake? Or what'd you do with my stuff? He's like, the police took it. He's like, okay, what about my snake? Oh, she had a accident. And he's just like, he actually cried. Like, the only thing he cried about was his snake, realistically. And then the Joe guy who thinks he knows him is like, oh, it's all an act. And then the mom starts crying, and he's like, look, you hurt your mom's feelings. And I was like, I would be upset too if I was standing in my own parents' home and they were awkwardly like, well, Joe's kind of like a cooler son than you ever were. So, like, we can't kick out Joe, so bye.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find... Oh, yeah, Joe the Lodger. There it is. Yeah, there was that, and then it reminds me of... shoot, what was it? Wallace and Gromit. The close shave, because that's I don't know if it was on purpose, but that is a very similar plot point where what is it? It is not the same. It is not set up the same, but pretty much. Are you familiar with Wallace and Gromit?
I've seen, like, bits and pieces. I've watched, like, more so clips. I remember the only thing that, like, it's, like, tangentially related. I remember my mom was like, oh, here, just watch this movie while the adults are busy. And then she put on Chicken Run, and I got freaked out and scared by it. So, like, when I see claymation in the style like Wallace and Gromit, my body kind of, like, has a moment. But I think as an adult, I learned that Chicken Run is actually, like, a really heavy plot, like, what it's based from.
Yeah, The Great Escape.
Which is what's the plot of The Great Escape?
The Great Escape. I think that Steve McQueen he's the main actor in there, where pretty much it is soldiers. I think it is pretty much it is people who were in World War II put in a concentration camp, and they are escaping from the concentration camp.
Yeah, and then they made it chickens, and then like something in my like young child's body was like, I don't like this, and I've never pinpointed what it is, and I don't plan on exploring it. So when I see Wallace and Gromit, I think Chicken Run, and my body's kind of like
yeah. Well, what came to my mind was this is when Joe the Lodger, they're like, well, he paid rent, we can't have him do that. Pretty much they bring in this criminal that's to pay rent because prices are going up, but they don't know he's a criminal, and he's just like, sorry, Gromit, he paid the top of the month and we just can't kick him out. And then he went into Gromit's room to like claim it and everything.
Yeah, very similar energy. Yeah.
And then I'm blanking on his name, but like the writer guy.
I don't remember his given name. I just remember him being known as like the writer trying to overthrow the government.
Oh, I found the name of the weird person that's like, I tried to give you a chance, Alex. Deltoid.
Dr. Deltoid, okay.
It's conspirator. I'm like just looking through the things, but anyway,
there's a lot of characters.
Yeah. But when when he goes in and is like the second time we see him, and it's almost like the same thing where he's writing. He's just, I don't know, I'm forgetting the name of the guy that's his like assistant, but he's just like, can you get the door? And it just like turns and like you just hear noises as he's typing, and it's just this dude just lifting weights in their living room, just super short shorts, and he's like, yeah, okay.
Like at first I was like, oh, did he find a new lover? And then I realized he lives in a place that's like all stairs.
Yeah.
It became really clear to me when the scene when Alex is like eating spaghetti or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's why this guy's a live-in with them. Okay.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if I can find him, because I forget his name. It was something so like simple. But I'm just sitting there looking at him. I was like, that's a jacked man. That is one man that has one job.
I know,
And
and like the scene where he's eating the spaghetti and he crosses his arms, I was like, oh, this is bad news for Alex, because the guy's
yeah,
sitting there like arms crossed, like flexing at him, and I was like,
yeah. So I wish I'm like looking all around to see what his where his name is, and all I see is like dim stage actor. I don't know who the stage actor was. Anyway, but yeah, it was just
oh,
that.
Mr. Alexander is the writer. So let me see if I can find.
Yeah, as we poke around in there.
Caretaker. No, it's just taking me to like the main characters.
Yeah, it's all good. I know he said a name. I don't really care. I'm not gonna stress out trying to find it. I did find it funny how all the old ladies, well, like the pretty much, yeah, all the old women, older women had like dyed like permed hair, which was cracking me up, and very like almost glam metal makeup on, which was cracking me up. I don't know if that was a thing in the 70s, but it was, or if that was like, but then none of the like younger women like the seem to have that makeup going on, but at the same time it's like most of the women there just they weren't there to have makeup on their face. It felt like, but yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much all I got for the movie. Like, there were some characters that were cracking me up. I do think some of the set pieces were cool. Like I think the locations were really neat. Like as you were saying earlier, that
The music store was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't like the scene immediately after the music store.
Yeah. Well, the weird thing about there is like the way like they worded it, and it could be the act, like the slang. It made those two girls seem a lot younger.
Yeah.
And
He
like
kept calling them girls.
yeah, but there was the way, I don't know, when I was reading the book, it made it, I was confused. In this one, I'm like, okay, at least they look like they're the same age, which I guess would make sense. Like, but I don't know. The 70s, once again, putting movies in there would be weird. But it was, yeah, it almost felt like this guy's in high school, and these two girls that are in there, like he would almost be shoot, their senior. What's before senior? Junior. Yeah, he almost felt like he was like at most a junior in high school, and the two girls were like either freshmen or like almost. And this is where I'm like, I gotta be careful, because I'm blanking on ages for middle school, but like pretty much, it made
like
it
12 to 14.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
pretty much like. They seemed on different spectrums of the teenager years, the way it was.
Maturity.
I thought, yeah, the way I thought it was being written. But our time is up. But yeah, it felt like, even though there wasn't like a ton of like location things, like we had the abandoned theater, we had the mansion that that Alexander Mansion was. We had the prison, and then his bedroom, the apartment. Yeah. So I don't know. There was a good amount of areas, but it's just like each area felt like it was its own.
There's a lot of personality between each of the locations.
Where it's like comparing it to 2001: Space Odyssey, where it's all one building, like it's all one spaceship pretty much. Until like, except for the monkeys, but and like it's interesting looking at that and comparing it to, is like you have the space station, you have the spaceship, and it's a different future because it's like everything is gray and matching, while in this future it's everything is very expressive. Like the rooms are almost more expressive than the people that are in them. So I did like that, where it's just like, okay, you can tell we're in a new place, a new location, new characters, and everything. Even if everyone dressed funny.
It's the future.
So
Sometimes.
I'm glad we didn't go to that future. I don't think I would want to do the fashion they had. I don't know. Do you have anything else? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say all their fashion is like really distinct to the movie though, so that part's like cool. Like you can look at a wardrobe and be like, oh, that's from Clockwork Orange, because there's nothing else that like uses that setup for clothing.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else. I suddenly realized that the only thing I had today was hot chocolate, and it is currently 5:30 p.m.
Well,
So my body
time for
is
a second
yelling
cup.
at me.
Yeah. So, anyway, I don't know how well this movie is accepted by the masses, but if we upset anybody, good. Just don't do ultra violence against us, please.
Please and thank you.
We live in North Dakota. Don't try to find us. But anyway, next we have a movie. There it is, Eyes Wide Shut. We were doing Eyes Wide Shut next, and yeah, it should be a fun time. I think that's his last movie.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's what we'll be doing, and I don't have anything else to say. So everyone, thank you so much. If you have different opinions of A Clockwork Orange, share them below in the comment stuff. If on the YouTube video, I think Spotify also has you comment stuff.
Or reviews or ratings.
Yeah, or reviews.
Can, like, write words in.
Please be nice. Like, you can be real, but say it nicely.
Don't say it like Alex would.
Yeah. The world's tough enough, and we don't even know. We're 2 weeks into 2025 when this releases, and we don't know what it's like. Anyway, y'all, you have a good night, day, and possible lunch. And we'll see you next week. Toodles.